Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B. Konnichiwa. Is that the right language? Konnichiwa.
I mean, sort of.
Is that Japanese?
It is. I don't know what the accent is though.
I mean, you were there for like a good 2 weeks. I thought you got the language down pat. Like, I saw Tom Cruise do it in like 2 hours. So,
well,
2 weeks. You're smarter than Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Welcome back.
That
B.
much we know for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh man, what's going on, everybody? B is back. We missed him. I know you guys are happy to see him. Look, everybody. Look, I know they missed y'all, man, because they in here early. Okay, they did not fill the chat room this fast the last couple of weeks. All right, they showed out, but they were like, "Oh, B's not here. I'll get there a little later." Right?
Wow.
Bazel is back at first. Salute to you, Bazel. He has a message here too. He says, "Bazel always here, always supporting your 86 Ghost. Wishing you the most. Keep fire content coming. Don't need to be first when you're the best, man." I appreciate that, Bazel. Salute to you. Appreciate that. Dot the connector says, in the famous words of Bart Starr, "I can't wait." Thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate that. Noah's in the house, says, "What up, LBHT crew? Hope everyone is having a good week. And if you ain't, I hope it gets better for you." Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope the week is going well. But if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. Okay, we are streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. So wherever you're listening, make sure you hit that like button. Also follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We have goals over here on YouTube. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the football season. Can we do it? I don't know. We're about 300 away. Now you guys tell us. You think you can get 300 people to subscribe?
I think they can.
I think they can. Ola Killer Cam, thanks for coming through. You said what?
Question is, do they want to?
Do they want to? Yes. Living Big with Big Reg is in the house. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. MJ in the house. What's going on? 18th. What's 18th? Oh, you're 18th. Oh, okay. Hey, it's all good. Jeremy's in the house. What's going on, Jeremy? Thanks for coming through. Just Allo. What's going on, Just Allo? Agent E. What's up? Coach. Salute, Coach. Thanks for coming through. Yes, B is back. He is back indeed. MDT Sports, what's going on? Shout out to you. Buddha Christ says, y'all be like Draymond and Haymaker, that like button. Oh, Draymond and Haymaker. Draymond is he makes me laugh, but he's a menace.
Draymond is special.
He's a menace. I can't get enough of these clips though. Who else we got in here? We got Hendo from the Road Pod. Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Hendo?
Bruno, what's going on, Bruno? What's up with you? Thanks for coming through. See, Jeremy listened to the trivia question yesterday. B, do you have any KFC in Japan?
No, see, by the time we were there, our tour guide said they had already been pre-ordering their KFC buckets for a week or two. So that was out of the question.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you just couldn't get a KFC chicken. You can get chicken because you did have some fried chicken.
I did.
And it was, and you said it was excellent.
It was.
Yes.
Possibly the best fried chicken I've ever had.
Wow.
But it was not Kentucky Fried.
Keith Lee would like to have a word with you.
Keith Lee did a little trip out the country.
Hey, we might have to get that going. Send Keith Lee to Japan. Okay, let him confirm. I believe B, but it needs the Keith Lee touch. All right.
Wow.
Okay. What's going on? Phantom says, "What's good, gang? Salute." Hey, salute to you. I be saying salute to you. Appreciate you. Ryan C in the house. Shout out to you. All right. 50 people in here already. Hit that like button. All right. or who said it? Buddha Christ, Draymond and Haymaker, that like button. All right. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. We have a lot to discuss. Obviously, the Ravens they're number one. I'm still in shock. I'm ready to say number two. Man, the AFC can't get out their own way.
I don't know why you'd be shocked. I don't know what is worried. I told y'all before the season started, they were possibly the best team in the league.
All right, we're going to discuss
that. They were
that.
going to win that division going away.
Look, we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss. Listen, there's not much to say about the current Panthers team, but we're going to talk about Panthers legend, the legend.
Starting off real rude this week.
I mean,
I don't feel very welcome.
Listen, if I say let's talk about the Panthers, your face gets all scrunched up. Like, we don't have to talk about Panthers. Why we got to talk about Panthers? We don't have to talk about
Panthers. That's my reaction. Let me have my reaction. You worry about yourself.
Yes, LeBron James was mentioned. We're going to discuss your champion, your in-season champion. Respect that. All right. We have a lot to discuss. All right. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B, back from Japan has a Black History fact for you.
Or do I? Hold on.
Or does he?
Oh yeah, you just upload some other videos. You trying to?
Oh yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
You should be.
Welcome to this week's LBHT Black History Fact. The Johnson brothers, James Weldon and John Rosamond, were born in Jacksonville, Florida, in 1871 and 1873, respectively. They were the grandchildren of Stephen Dillett, the first person of color elected to the Bahamian legislature. While both were activists and artistically inclined, James made his name as a key member of the NAACP in the early 1900s. He chartered the NAACP chapter in Memphis, exposed the racism and corruption by the United States during its occupation of Haiti, and became the first executive secretary of the NAACP, helping to grow its membership and influence throughout the South. John, on the other hand, pursued a career in the arts, composing and starring in several musicals including The Shoe Fly Regiment, The Red Moon, and The Sleeping Beauty and the Beast. He was later appointed to be the director of New York's music school settlement for colored people, and served as the first deputy marshal for the Negro Silent Protest Parade. While the brothers were very accomplished on their own, they're probably best known for their song, Lift Every Voice and Sing. James provided the lyrics and John the music for what was a call for faith and hope in the face of the violence and oppression that was rampant in the United States at the time. The song was first performed publicly on December 12, 1900, at the Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida. Years later, the NAACP began promoting the song as it is colloquially known to this day, the Black National Anthem.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right. Look, we got some more people in here. Who we got? Chocolate Lady Cat. What's going on? Salute. Says happy Wednesday, my friends. Welcome back, Brodny. Shout out to you. Clinton's in the house. Clinton's Conversation says, let's all join hands and sing. Yep. There you go. NET is loving that. Oh, listen, you know what else I'm loving? I'm loving this donation by our guy 86 Ghost. Says to match where to match where Reg ranked us Baylor style. Oh, ouch. He said to match where Big Reg ranked us 17. He ranked us 17th. Yo, they ain't gonna let you live that down, Big Reg. This is why
living big with Big Skip.
Look, Reg, this is why you have to have power rankings, okay? And you say, hey, these rankings change from week to week. All right, that was your preseason rankings, right? Now you can say they're number one. All right. In fact, you want to start with the Ravens? Let's start with the Ravens. because I want to spend a little time on Cam later on. Let's start with the Ravens. Okay, Ravens are number one. Look, I don't dispute that they're a good team. Obviously, I think they're a good team. Obviously, I think they could beat any team in the league. You know, my concerns with the team is the coach not having them ready week to week. That's actually your concern. Yeah, I got that from you. You're the first one to point that out to me. And they showed a little bit of that on Sunday, coming off of bye, playing a 6-6 team. It took it into overtime. I'm not overly upset about it because even though the 6-6, the Rams, when healthy, are very dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. And they showed it. So I'm not upset by that. They have an excellent coach, you know, good quarterback, great wide receivers, excellent running back. They have everything over there, and they still got Aaron Donald on that side of the ball, on the defense side of the ball. So, you know, a close game doesn't surprise me. The defense played. They had a bad game, right? This is called what it is. They had a bad game, but give Lamar a little bit better weapons than what they had, you know, in 2019 and 2020. And look at that, he can carry the team. I mean, he's been carrying it, but like, you know, he could bail you out when your defense, which is what this team is built on, defense. When they don't have a good game, he can still get it done. I love it. I I mean, even though it wasn't their best play game, damn sure it wasn't the best coach game. I'll take it. I don't have too many gripes about it.
Yeah, I think that this is kind of what we talked about a lot with Cam in Carolina in the early part of his career there, right? I was like, hey, they got bad coaching, they got a bad O-line, and they have bad wide receivers. If you fix one of those things, Cam will carry the team where you want to go, right? And they did. They got a pretty mediocre offensive line, but it was an upgrade on what they had, and they went 15-1 and went to the Super Bowl. Same thing that you're seeing right now with Lamar. Yeah, they didn't have any wide receivers. They didn't have good coaching, and the O-line had been deteriorating over the last several years. They upgraded their coaching. They upgraded their wide receivers. I mean, the O-line's still there, but now, you know, he's playing great every week, and they look like the most complete team in the NFL. They look like the best team in the AFC, which was the deeper conference for sure. And they look like they're poised to make that Super Bowl run finally.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to our brothers, okay? The Off the Record podcast. All right. OTR Brandon just gave us a like over on Facebook. Salute to you. OTR Brandon, aka Coach Brandon, head coach of Wild Lake JV basketball team, with his assistant coaches, OTR Quan and OTR Mike. All right. The reason why we've been slow to get you that next open mic with OTR Mike episode is because these brothers have been, they've been putting in work. They practice every day. When they're not practicing, they have games. And right now, I believe they're 2-1 on the season. The season just started. Great job. I mean, OTR Brandon and OTR Mike, they coached the AAU team back in the day, and they did a great job with that team. So I knew as soon as they took this position, Wild Lake was going to be in good hands.
Is the mascot just another one of their friends wearing a shirt that says nepotism? I don't understand.
Why they gotta be nepotism?
Why they gotta all be OTR? Answer me that.
They listen. They, Coach Jay, a friend of ours who coached the varsity team. He was coach of the year last year in Howard County. Won the county last year. Moved on to bigger and better things. Salute to him. He got promotion. So there's an opening at head coach. They filled that spot, and then that left a vacancy at the JV squad. So OTR Brandon stepped up and took that position. He asked, a bunch of us, who would be interested in helping out. And of course, OTR Mike is always going to help his brother out, and OTR Quan stepped up. So I love that for the Off the Record crew, man. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Clinton's conversation says, "Where's Yolanda be at?" Asking for a friend. Yolanda's at where she's at, and she be where she be. Clinton, like, you don't ask for a friend. If you want to know, just say, "Hey, I want to know where Yolanda's at." Yolanda may or may not be on tonight. We don't know, but if you want to see more of Yolanda B, get at your boy Brandon Bozell at the chat. because Yolanda and Brandon were supposed to be starting up a channel together. You gotta nudge them in the right direction and get that going.
Yeah. Yes. We spoiled them the last 2 weeks because Yolanda came in, especially during the People's Court segment. They were loving that. So listen, it's not the last you're gonna see of Yolanda. All right. She'll be back on here. Look, what are you reading?
It's reading Agent E. He must be in love.
Agent
Agent E always trying to start something, man.
Always.
Why don't you relax one Wednesday?
But yes, shout out to Hendo for filling in. Shout out to Yolanda B. Shout out to Country Boy from One Mic History. Make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to all of them. Except Yolanda, that she don't have a channel yet. Yet. All right. But yes, back to the Ravens, man. Look, they play the Jaguars Sunday night. It's a little bit more highly of an anticipated game. I expect them to win. I know we don't usually play well in Jacksonville, but this is one of the bigger games that they have to have, right? Have to have, right? I think they're comfortably in the playoffs. I think they're almost comfortably locked of the division. But this game, they win this game, they stay number one, and they will effectively clinch the AFC North, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think that, personally, I think they're going to win this one easily. Trevor Lawrence is still banged up.
Yeah,
they're a pretty up and down team in the best of times. The Ravens look like, thankfully, they'll have Kyle Hamilton maybe for this game. And and even if he doesn't play, they're very healthy outside of that. Ronnie Stanley kind of looked like Ronnie Stanley this past week. They're just a better team all the way around than the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I expect them to show it.
Yeah. Speaking of Ronnie Stanley, they had him in a rotation, which seemed to do the trick, which is something that they should have been doing from the beginning. Like, he's still not healthy. They said he wasn't healthy. He's playing through injury. Yeah, you rotate him in and out. They didn't want to do that because they weren't confident who was behind him. But this proves to be the better move, right? Until he's 100%. And then in the offseason, we can look at some options to bring on some tackles. Like I said, I don't say replace Ryan Stanley until we know for sure. But doesn't mean don't add, right? So they definitely need to add tackles for sure. Kyle Hamilton, very relieved that the injury wasn't worse, right?
Yeah.
They had me nervous for a minute. I was like, because he played through the game. Like, he went out twice, he came back. And I was like, okay, I guess he's all right. And they're talking about he needs an MRI, and people were saying it could be bad. I was like, oh God, that's Kyle Hamilton, man. B, look, you don't draft safeties that high in the draft, but sheesh. They got the one.
Yeah, we said it at the time. He's a great prospect, but probably not the best pick for them there. Just because, like you said, you don't take safeties that high. They had other needs, but they took Kyle Hamilton, and as expected, they've got a great player in Kyle Hamilton.
Yes. Very happy with his production. Very happy. And again, the defense, I'm not, like I said on the Ravens Roundup, off game, I don't put any stock into that. When you play a talented team, when you play talent, that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Cooper Kupp wants to get his yards, Cooper Kupp's going to get his yards.
And if Cooper Kupp 2.0, aka Puka Nacua, wants to get his yards, he's gonna get his yards.
If he even if he needs to dive 20 yards to get the ball, he's going to do it, right? Like,
that's what Puka do.
Players like that, man. I don't care how good of a defense you have. If they decide this is going to be my game, there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's fine. Like, we responded well. That's why I love to see OBJ is starting to look more comfortable out there, right? He's starting to look like OBJ a little bit. All right. This is something that we talked about. You want to get him ready for the stretch in the playoffs. And sheesh, man, looking at the rest of the teams, man, like, yes, Trevor Lawrence isn't healthy. Props to him for fighting through it, because I thought he was going to miss some time. It looked like he was done. But Yeah, Jaguars at best are up and down with him hurt. It's not looking good. The Chiefs, Kadarius Toney, man, he has cost them 2 games, and I know. And
hey, it's not just him. All right,
listen,
he's not the only one who's dropping passes out there.
True,
it's not all on him.
But shout out to Pat Mahomes. Shout out to Andy Reid for not throwing him under a bus. They made it all about the refs.
I know that man was 2 yards offsides, but that's on the zebras.
Listen, people are going to clown them, right? They're going to talk about them, but that is good leadership. That's being a good teammate. Mm-hmm. Not putting it on him. He was a foot or two, past the line. But why'd you call it? I love it, man. That's a great teammate. Shout out to Money Making Mitch. Appreciate the donation. Says, but if you have to rotate Ronnie out, that means he is not healthy. Yeah. So why play him in the first place? Just let him rest up. This is a circular conversation. You're absolutely right. Right. But if we say, hey, he's not healthy, let him rest, the argument will be, well, he's had 2 years to rest. But my counter argument would be, he hasn't had 2 years to rest. You rush him back, and then he gets hurt again, and he has to be out, right? And then when he's starting to be ready to come back, let's rush him back out there again. He's not 100%. He gets hurt again. He's out, right? That's not letting him rest. That's waiting. That's just waiting too early. Or being impatient, I should say. Being impatient and rushing them out there too early. And this is the result of it. And it's because you don't have faith in the players that you drafted. It's really what it comes down to. Daniel Falele, we drafted. What's the other guy's name? Salah, we drafted. Ben Cleveland, we drafted. Mm-hmm. Right, Patrick McCarry, we gave a contract for because he's supposed to be that guy that can fill in at any part of the O line. I mean, we drafted a lot of players, and we don't have confidence in them.
Jason Voorhees over there.
Yeah, well, we look. I don't want to talk about Jason Voorhees. We'll wait until next year and we'll see what he. I hope he contributes.
Yeah, I don't remember what his actual first name is, and until he makes the team,
Andrew Voorhees.
I'm not going to bother learning it.
It's Andrew.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's Andrew Voorhees. So, yeah, I mean that, but that's why they do it, And when he goes out there and he doesn't play at 100%, we say he sucks, but it is very tough to get good play at that position. It's going to cost money and or draft picks, multiple draft picks for us to get a quality starting left tackle.
And the draft pick thing comes with time as well, because you're not likely to get a rookie who can come in and play left tackle at a high level.
No, that's why I said even if we get somebody that can replace Stanley, I don't think it will be next year. We'll still need Stanley to play left and that other person to play right, But let's keep working on the O line. Let's keep working on the O line. That's all I can say.
What's up, Jay the Six? He says,
"Hey,
where are my Kit Kats, kind sir?" I think you misread that. I didn't say I was going to send you Kit Kats. You said get them, and I said I'm going to.
Yeah,
I didn't say I'm going to, and then I will send them to you. That one's kind of on you, Jay.
Mm-hmm. Xavier says it's also a risk. Both Ronnie and McCarry could go down on the game. If Salah has to play, we are screwed. Yeah, or Falele. Coach is in the chat. He'll tell you don't want Falele in there either. We had higher expectations for Daniel Falele. He played better in college at right tackle. We thought maybe he could play right tackle. He can't do that either. Yeah.
I got a couple flavors, Jay, and they'll be coming your way.
Yeah. See, Coach tell you don't like them. Okay.
Yeah. Does Coach like anybody though?
Yeah.
Yeah, James Prochet. Anybody else?
No, he likes Linderbaum. There you go. All right, Patrick Queen. Yeah, Coach ain't no hater. He breaks down the tape and he sees Coach, ugly.
Coach a big time hater. That's all right. That's okay, Coach. That's okay.
So brother, I will read this because this is we're gonna talk about Mahomes more in a second here. All right, that's gonna be that he's on trial this week. All right, it says Mahomes emoji crying man. Imagine if Lamar did what he did. Look, we're gonna talk more about that in the people's court. All right, we're gonna get your opinions on that. Warbone, what is up, Warbone? Says, who do you have for MVP? Well, listen, Warbone is a Cowboys fan.
Yes,
we had a little wager here for what his stats were going to be. Look, 4,500 yards. He could get 4,500 yards. I think he said 42 touchdowns. He's not going to get that. The interceptions. He said 9 interceptions.
Yeah, he's still in play for that.
Yep,
he's at 6 right now. So
I can see him finish. He can finish out less than 9. He's playing excellent. He's talking about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is definitely a candidate. I would love to see him get it, especially over Brock Purdy.
Well, that's because Brock Purdy don't deserve it.
We're gonna talk about him in another segment too.
Hey, we're gonna talk about Dak in that one too. So.
Oh yeah. So yes. Who do I have as the favorite? I'm a homer. I'm gonna say Lamar.
I don't even think that's being a homer, man. I think he's been the best player in the league. And I mean, let's be honest, he's been the best quarterback in the league because it's a quarterback award. They don't give that to anybody else.
Yeah.
The Ravens are the best team in the league. They're the number 1 team in the AFC. Lamar's been playing pretty lights out for most of the season. I think it's Lamar for sure.
If you're a Cowboys fan like Warbone is, I mean, they make a strong argument, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to hear that. Like you don't want to hear that. Look at the numbers that Dak is putting up. How do you dispute that? How do you argue against that?
I mean, by saying they're not even the best team in their own conference.
They just beat the Eagles pretty soundly.
They beat the Eagles and they got the hell beaten out of them by San Francisco. So,
you said conference, you didn't say division. You're right.
Yeah. They might not be the best team in their division.
And Debo said, "You don't want to see us again."
Yeah, he sure did.
He says Lamar's not playing better than Dak.
Okay, sure.
He doesn't have better numbers than Dak, and even that's disputable, right? Because people don't like to add up his rushing yards, which absolutely matter. Listen, I mean, we have to look at the numbers closely, total yards and touchdowns and whatnot. Dak is playing great. If Dak wins MVP, I like Dak. I wouldn't be mad at that. But yeah, I'm a ride for Lamar. Is he playing better? Yeah, I think he is. The stats don't tell the whole story, but Dak is playing great. I'm not going to take that away from him. All right, where do we want to go next? Do we want to go to? We have so many things to talk about. Do we want to discuss Cam Newton? Or
go ahead.
Okay, we'll discuss Cam Newton and then because we're talking about Dak. All right. Before we get to that part, okay, because I know that's the news that came out today. I want to address what Sean McDermott said. Was it like a week ago, or what it was put out about a week ago?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. What did you say?
Well, okay, it's not an actual quote from McDermott. But it was an article on Go Long Touchdown, I believe, golongtd.com. And essentially they were talking about how Sean McDermott is a coach with low football IQ. And they said that because he was in Carolina when Cam Newton was going crazy and tearing up the league, and he ain't like Cam, and he thought that Cam was ruining the Panthers. and they were pointing out how funny it is for him to have that opinion when he has a Cam Newton clone on his team, and also Cam Newton is the reason that he has a head coaching job right now, essentially.
The only reason.
I won't say the only reason. The defense was good in Carolina, but I don't think he wouldn't have gotten a job off of just the defense without Cam winning those games for him. Sean McDermott is he's been showing some cracks recently, right? It was, I believe, the same site was reporting previously. They had a interview with somebody who an anonymous interview, to be fair, who had predicted that the first person to go off that staff was going to be the offensive coordinator because he was going to throw him under the bus, talking about Ken Dorsey. And lo and behold. Now, I mean, granted, the offense has played better since Ken was fired. But there's just a lot of talk about Sean McDermott about how he doesn't really take accountability for anything that goes on. Cam. That was
bring out the 9/11
comparison. I mean, and look, you don't ever want to go to 9/11 as your comparison, but if you're going to go there, if you find yourself in that situation, how was the comparison not the first responders working together to save lives? How did you go to the terrorists? And then follow it up with questions about the obstacles that the terrorists face. Anyway, Sean's having a bad time, but there's no excuse for trying to look back at Cam and say that he was a problem in Carolina.
Yeah. What's up, E? Good to see you, my friend. AFC will win the Super Bowl. Hey, we're gonna find out.
Cam was the driving force on that Panthers team. It was, we talk about the similarities between Baltimore and Carolina a lot. In Carolina, again, they were a team that was propped up by a couple of superstars. One on offense in Cam Newton, one on defense in Luke Kuechly. Right? Those guys really, I mean, they carried that team. To look at what Cam Newton had around him, and I mean, they had Michael Oher, y'all know about him. They had Mike Remmers, who they picked up off of a practice squad. You might remember, if you're not familiar with his work in Carolina, you might remember him from the only Super Bowl that the Kansas City Chiefs lost with Pat Mahomes, where he also couldn't block anything.
That's right. He wasn't.
So he cost Cam and Pat Mahomes a ring. I mean, not by himself, but
no.
You look at that. You look at Mike Shula being the offensive coordinator, him throwing to Ted Ginn and Philly Brown, and eventually Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess. Like it was a dumpster fire in Carolina. Yeah. But Cam had the kind of talent that could elevate that team. I'm sure a lot of people have seen the video because Jalen Hurts had recently tied Cam Newton for, I believe it was like the most rushing touchdowns in the first 4 seasons or by a certain age or something like that. And somebody put together a highlight reel of Jalen Hurts and Cam Newton running for touchdowns. And every Jalen Hurts touchdown was the brotherly shove, as they call it, just a QB sneak for a yard, and Cam's out here running 50, 60, 70 yards, having to break multiple tackles every time he scored, right? Like it really was the Cam Newton show in Carolina.
It was.
So
it's funny doing that comparison, right?
The video's hilarious. The video's right? They had a Meek Mill song going too. It was nasty. But the audacity to look at the Carolina Panthers and try to act like Cam Newton was anywhere near a problem for that organization tells you that one, the guy's clueless. Two, or two, he doesn't like to take any accountability, like the anonymous source was saying. He's not going to put any blame on his defense. He's not going to put any blame on himself. He's going to look at he's looking outward.
Now, okay, listen. Was he the problem in Carolina? Absolutely not. Did he ruin the Panthers? Yes, he did. How did he ruin the Panthers, B?
I would say no, he did not.
No. It's the Cam Newton effect.
No. I'm saying yes. That the Cam Newton effect is courtesy of Kelvin Benjamin. What happened was 2016. Well, we go back a little back further.
There.
Little further.
Oh, further.
A little further.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Cam shows up. And he's playing great right from the start. Playing well. He won Rookie of the Year. He was far more productive than anybody really expected him to be early on. They finally started to build around him. And 2015, Cam comes out and just says, "I don't care. I'm taking this league over." Right? And he wins MVP. They go 15-1. They make it to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they fall short against Denver. And the organization's response to that was let's draft a literal backup defensive tackle because they had Star Latulele and Kawan Short as their starters, both under contract for a couple more years. So they drafted a backup defensive tackle, and not even a good backup defensive tackle, because they could have taken Chris Jones, the guy that's wrecking shop in Kansas City. They took Vernon Butler. But they also passed on any wide receivers because they said, hey, Kelvin Benjamin tore his ACL, right, in preseason, in training camp. Now, on the outside, you could look at that and say, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. He looked pretty good as a rookie. He'll be back, so they'll be fine. But the organization knew that he tore his ACL because he was out there at almost 300 pounds trying to juke people. And they said, Kelvin Benjamin will be back, and passed on getting a wide receiver.
Now, I want to pause right there, because when he first got hurt, there were those rumors going out there saying, well, part of that was due to him being overweight and that he ballooned up to 300 pounds. That was the rumor. And it was like, all right, that's a nasty rumor. Ain't no wide receiver 300 pounds. But when he came back next year,
yeah, he wasn't quite. They said it was about like 289 or so, 290, because it was against the Dolphins. They had their joint practice, and he tore his ACL, running a route. So they said, yeah, no wide receiver. Kelvin Benjamin will be back. Yeah. Come back 2016, Kelvin Benjamin's back. Right? They're playing the Chargers. Cam throws I believe it was a deep out to Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin quits on the route, gets undercut and intercepted. Kelvin quits on the play, doesn't attempt to make a tackle, and the guy's returning it down the sideline, and Cam, being Cam, is running the guy down, makes the tackle, and falls awkwardly on his shoulder, injures his shoulder, and he was never the same after that. The team never really allowed him to get healthy. It was kind of re-injured, I believe, 2 years later, playing Pittsburgh when TJ Watt speared him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And from that point on, everything kind of went downhill. They decided, hey, you know what? We're not sure if he's healthy, if he's going to get healthy. Maybe we owe him $20 million, but maybe if we cut him, we can pay that $20 million to Teddy Bridgewater, which is what they did. And that was a handpicked guy from Matt Rule and Joe Brady, because Joe Brady had worked with Teddy Bridgewater in New Orleans. Teddy comes in, and it's cool for a while. And then the coaching staff turns on Teddy publicly. Teddy turns on the coaching staff, which, by the way, you have to be some real dirtbags to get Teddy Bridgewater to turn on you in public.
Yes. Yes.
But that's neither here nor there.
So Teddy's out. So Cam's out, and then Teddy's out.
Teddy's out. And
now they're still paying for these two quarterbacks.
Yes, of course. And they say, and look, I'll take some of the blame on this one myself. I said, hey, yeah, kick the tires on Sam Darnold. Why not? And when I said kick the tires, I meant like throw him a conditional 7th round pick and just see what he has.
Yeah.
What they heard was trade a 2nd, 4th, and 6th and bring in Sam Darnold to be your starting quarterback and pass on Justin Fields, pass on Rashawn Slater, pass on everybody else, and take a corner in the first round. So I think we all remember how the Sam Darnold era went. That led to the Baker Mayfield era, which led back to the Sam Darnold era when Baker Mayfield was terrible and they had to put Sam back in. There was some PJ Walker era stuff, mixed in there as well. It's been real bad. It's been real bad since Cam injured his shoulder, thanks to Kelvin Benjamin. And that kind of led to the whole situation where we have right now, where Cam is out of the league. He was cut by New England right before the season in favor of Mac Jones. A lot of speculation that him not being vaccinated played a big part in that. But yeah, he's out of the league, and he's got a podcast. Podcast is doing very well, but he's saying a lot of, you know what, Coach? Yes, it's a lot of errors. I don't appreciate it.
But before you segue into that, I see where you're going with it. Just to say, always to say, yes, just that one bad decision of not bringing Cam back, right? When they switched out owners and head coaches, not respecting that legend, right? Like other franchises do. They honor their legends. Green Bay. They tried to show Brett Favre that respect. Brett Favre made it very tough.
Eli Manning. Right?
Eli
they fired
Manning,
a coach because he had the audacity to do the right thing in benching him.
Yeah, right. and it didn't look good. That was the first time they ever started a black quarterback. That didn't look good. But Ben Roethlisberger, you know, Pittsburgh just let him finish out his career there. You know, like, yeah, I mean, you try to do right by somebody that's, you know, really lifted up your franchise. And they just kind of tossed Cam away like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm. And I forgot to mention also they drafted Will Grier at the end of the third round, and then came back and drafted Matt Corral as well. So they've gone through a lot of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone through a lot of coaches since then. It's been nothing but instability, and this is what people kind of talk about when they say that you know, coaches, organizations want continuity, they want stability. Because yeah, you might say, hey, who cares if you fire so and so? Who cares if you get rid of this player who's been there a long time? And you know, a lot of times it'll work out fine, but sometimes you make another bad decision and things spiral out of control.
And
which is where we're at in Carolina right now.
Yeah, and you can say whatever you want about Cam Newton. None of their options, that the choices that they've made from the time they left Cam, were better options than keeping Cam.
No. And especially when you consider the fact that they are a large part of the reason why he never got healthy. You know, Ron Rivera was there, and Ron Rivera was playing him when he was clearly nowhere near 100%. I remember there was a game against Philadelphia. I believe it was a prime time game too, or Cam, he was spraying the ball all over the field. Like, he had no business being out there. He couldn't get it anywhere near his receivers, and they were getting blown out. And Ron was like, no, finish it. You know, wouldn't even take him out of the game. So Carolina, they bear a lot of responsibility in the way that the end of Cam's career played out, which, you know, you can kind of debate whether it should have been the end of Cam's career, right? Because Cam has not, you know, after New England, he hasn't had another opportunity to come in and play. And Cam is not shy about talking about that. And Cam is not shy about talking about the players who he feels are lesser than him in terms of ability on the field, not like lesser people.
Right.
He was talking on his podcast.
That'd be funny too.
On this podcast this past week, saying that there's a bunch of guys in the league right now who are just kind of game managers. And he mentioned Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, Tua, and he mentioned Dak. And essentially saying that he should be in the league still because these are the kind of quarterbacks you have playing.
Yeah, and Kimberly Martin on ESPN, one of the shows, you know, she had a few things to say, and she brought up how, hey, you know, you're not even a backup anymore. You're not good enough to be a backup, and you know what you're saying is ridiculous and all this stuff. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what she said, right? Like, he doesn't have the right to have an opinion on quarterbacks in the league. She don't like that term, game managers, which is crazy because a lot of her coworkers, right, a lot of her colleagues have used that term many times for quarterbacks in the league, and said worse about some of these quarterbacks. So why are you so offended when a former NFL MVP, right, at quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks, you know, in the game at the time, right, like one of the most exciting quarterbacks to ever play the game, when he has an opinion on some of these quarterbacks that he's not far off on? Why does that upset you so much? Why do you clutch your pearls at that? I mean, Alex Smith was on one of those shows on ESPN, not, you know, just a couple weeks ago, downplaying Tom Brady's 7 rings, right?
Yeah, I'm right, Alex Smith. And shout out to you for speaking the truth. But first, I'll make clear, I don't agree with Cam on Dak. I don't think Dak's a game manager. I think he's better than that. The other guys, absolutely. Brock Purdy has been propped up by one of the best supporting casts we've ever seen, honestly. And shout out to Carolina for making that possible by trading them Christian McCaffrey. Jared Goff just isn't very good. I mean, whether you call him a game manager or not, he's just not very good.
He is a starting caliber QB.
He's a starting caliber QB if you have an offensive genius on your staff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which is, I mean, it's fine. Yeah, like, he's not the worst quarterback ever or anything like that, but he's not a particularly good quarterback. Tua, I think, is the very definition of a game manager, because when Tyreek Hill is out there, he puts up dazzling numbers, right? And when Tyreek Hill's not out there, you're like, why is Tua our quarterback?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So and we talked about this earlier. Let's start with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, he is in running for the league MVP. He's put up excellent numbers. If he gets it, it wouldn't surprise me. That doesn't mean he's not a game manager, right? His job is not to go out there and make plays. His job, I don't think anybody would disagree with this, is to not mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
That is his job. He does an excellent job at it. And if he gets Employee of the Year award for that, good for him. But his job is to not mess it up.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks if the game's online, he's gonna make some amazing plays out there and bring them back. It's just look, get the ball to Brandon Ayuk, get the ball to Deebo Samuel, let them work. Get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, let them work. Right? Get the ball to George Kittle. I as I'm saying these names, it makes me sick how many players they got on the team.
Right.
Jesus. But that's his job. And look, good for him. That's not a diss, right? Good for him. You got those players. Use it. That's how every team should be looking out for the quarterback, right? But yes, he's a game manager. Tua, and I like Tua. I'm a Tua fan. Obviously, if you can't see the difference from when Tyreek Hill is in the game and when he's not in the game, I don't know what to tell you. You've never watched any of you haven't even watched the highlights if you don't even notice that, right? Like what's the equivalent? That's like Thor without his hammer.
I wouldn't even say it because Thor's still pretty strong without his hammer. That's Tony Stark without the suit.
Yeah,
like that's Batman without prep time, right? Like it's not the same.
I mean, Tyreek Hill went out the game for a long stretch on Monday, and they weren't even getting close to scoring. He comes back, they fight their way back, they still lose. Yeah, man, Tua's a game manager. He's an exciting game manager, right? Because you have Tyreek Hill out there, game manager. Goff, game manager. Now Dak, I do not think Dak is a game manager, but again, he's another person that has a lot of talent around him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He went from leading the league in interceptions last year to having a much better year this year.
Yeah.
Right. But I can understand where one might question, well, if he didn't have that talent, how good would he be? I think he'd still be very good. I always thought he was a good quarterback, right? But I can understand where that criticism will come into play, right? But okay, Cam said these guys are game managers. I want to read this from Kurt Warner, right? He tweeted this out. He said, as I joined the convo on game changer versus game manager last night, here are my definitions. Game changer, a QB that makes more plays than other QBs can or does things others can't do in any variety of ways. Game manager, a QB that's doing what many others could do in same situation, right? Mm-hmm. So with that definition, I mean, we don't even have to talk about the other quarterbacks. They can't do anything that anybody else can't do. They can't. Can Dak do things that other QBs cannot do?
I think so. I think that he has, when he's on, he's a very, very accurate quarterback. I think he can make plays with his legs. I think he's a very intelligent quarterback.
Yes.
It's just, I think he's a little bit streaky. He's not always, I mean, nobody's always at their best, but I think he goes through slumps a little more often than some of the other top quarterbacks will do. But I think that he does make throws and make plays that other guys cannot make, at least cannot make consistently.
Okay, cool. I agree with that. Now, looking at that definition and viewing these quarterbacks through the lens of Cam Newton, who did things maybe like 3 people in the history of the game could do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, of course he looks at them like, well, they're not game changers. They're just, they're average guys.
Yeah.
And they have talent around them, right? I can see where he thinks that. Now, he can't do those things anymore.
Right.
Right. And these are the good, some of the better QBs in the league. You look on the other end where Nick Mullins is starting this week. Of course,
after taking the job from Josh Dobbs.
You're right.
Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco off his couch.
After taking the job from Josh Dobbs because he lost to Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, who was also a starter in the league. Easton Stick is starting this week and the rest of the season out there for the Chargers.
Yeah.
No, if you're Cam, you're absolutely sitting there saying I'm better than probably a third of the quarterbacks in this league.
Warball, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Dak is a great closer and reads the defense better than any QB.
When has he ever closed?
Let's not go there, bro. Let's not go there. He's having an excellent year. Let's just leave it at that. Don't go that far. I get like you're a fan. You're allowed to have it. I take it back. Go ahead and cook, Warbone. You're a Cowboys fan. Go ahead and cook. All right, stand up for your boy. All right. Yeah. Browns got Brownlee. All right, is that his name? Jason Brown?
Jason Browning. The Bengals.
Browning. Yes, Browning.
The Bengals got him. Browns got Joe Flacco.
Oh yeah. My goodness. who took the job from DTR? Who else? Who
PJ Walker.
PJ Walker. Tommy DeVito's out there. Cam should be in the league.
Tommy DeVito, by the way, has won 3 games. Tommy DeVito going to be a starter for somebody next year. He gonna scam somebody out some money. Tommy DeVito also, by the way, I posted it in our Discord, has more touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett.
Oh, what's the dynamic duo out in New England? Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. Is it Zappi who finally who took down the Steelers? This is after
first half Mac.
Yeah, after coming back after like his third benching. Listen, you can tell me Cam's washed. You cannot convince me that he can't start over some of these names that we're talking about. There's no way you can convince me that he should not be on a roster. Insane. All right. Going through those names, man, that is disgusting.
It is.
Who replaced Trevor Lawrence last week?
I'm not sure. I know that they had brought Nathan Rourke onto the active roster. I'm not sure if he actually went into the game.
No, Beathard, CJ Beathard, that's who it was. Right.
That's way worse.
Okay. All right, B. You weren't here for the first ever court of public opinion, but you're here now. Let's get it. Hold on. Let me fold this back right here. There we go. All right. Yes. All right. You guys brought it up earlier. All right. The Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a quick trial. All right. This is going to be a quick trial. Kansas City Chiefs had an amazing walk-off home run. Walk-off touchdown to beat the Bills. It was an excellently drawn play. I'm not even sure if it was drawn that way, but he throws the ball. He throws the ball to Travis Kelce. Kelce turns around, laterals it to Kadarius Toney, who does the Deion dance into the end zone, right? Sending the Bills to 6-7 and basically eliminating them from the playoffs. Okay.
And really kicking off this whole Sean McDermott thing because they can circle the wagons now that they beat Kansas City, but had that touchdown stood,
the Sharks would have been circling.
Yes.
So all that was happening, and then a flag comes down, and you're thinking, "Oh, okay, whatever, offsides, whatever, holding, whatever." And they say offsides, offense. And sheesh, it's rare that you see those things, and you almost never see those things happen in those moments. And of course, everybody's upset. Mm-hmm. They run the play back. They don't convert on 4th down. They lose the game. Pat Mahomes is trying to fight one of the refs.
He wasn't trying to fight him.
They're holding him back.
Yeah, I mean, he was just trying to get his point across. He wasn't trying to fight him.
Yeah, sure. You know, they had to hold, they had to restrain him. He's still talking about it while congratulating Josh Allen. In fact, he didn't even acknowledge Josh Allen won the game.
well, to be fair, did he win the game or did they steal the game from Patrick?
Yeah, and he hugged him. And Josh Allen has, instead of saying, "Hey, you know, thanks, good game," he has to kind of like pat him down, like, "Hey, calm down." And he's still talking about it. Andy Reid calls it an embarrassment to the league. You know, all this, and then 24 hours later, he's like, "Did Kadarius Toney step over the line? Yeah, maybe it was an inch or 2 or 3 or 6, but why'd you call it?" Okay. Yes. Now let's typically be how we do this. One of us takes one side, you take the other, and then but this is going to be more of like a we call them the case studies. Okay. This is more one of these. We're going to discuss. We're going to lay out the facts, and we're all going to judge this together. All right. So you can already start typing like Agent E did. Said guilty, guilty, guilty. But who's guilty? Who's guilty here? All right. Are the refs guilty? Are the refs guilty? Is Kadarius Toney guilty? Is Pat Mahomes guilty? Okay, you're supposed to be scanning your offense there, man. You don't see it. He's over the line. You didn't tell him, "Hey, step back." You know. Now Cam Newton did speak on this. I want to add this since we're talking about Cam Newton. He said he wasn't that far over the line. Usually they do let that go, right? I don't know. He seemed pretty far in that angle that they showed.
He was a foot past essentially. You know, his lead foot was all the way past the ball. But look, here's the thing. I'm siding with Pat and the Chiefs on this one.
Okay.
Now normally I'm hey, you committed the penalty, call the penalty, guy. Like, I don't like when people say, "Hey, you can't call that in that situation." No, if it's pass interference, it's pass interference, right? If you foul somebody in the NBA in the closing seconds, call the foul, right? It's a foul all the way through. But the thing is, you know, the what Reed and Cam and others are pointing out is correct. You don't call that. I mean, and football fans in general love to hit you with, "It didn't affect the play. Why'd you call it?" Don't call holding. He was on the other side of the field. Okay, well, this had nothing to do with the play. Why'd you call it? Now, I think for me, the most compelling argument here for the Chiefs is, again, like I said, you don't really call that on the offense ever. And so
they called it 11 times this year.
Of course, the offense is going to have the expectation that it's not going to be called.
Yes.
Right. Baltimore fans are very familiar, I pointed out earlier, with Michael Oher. It was a running joke that he would false start every play, right?
And a lot of tackles do that.
Yeah. Lane Johnson's doing that in Philly right now. Every play. That's not an exaggeration. Every play, they're false starting. And it's not that the refs don't see it, right? They see everybody talking about it on social media. They see the replays. They know they're doing it. You're just not throwing the flag. So the offense is not really going to have any expectation that you're actually going to throw that flag, not just in a game, deciding situation, in any situation. It's essentially not a penalty, right? But you come back in with 1 minute left on a play that scored what would have been a game-winning touchdown. They said, "Nah, I don't know, man. Your toe looked pretty far upfield." It's kind of BS.
Now, I agree with like 99% of what you're saying. The only thing that's kind of making me lean in the other direction is something that Andy Reid admitted he shouldn't have admitted. He shouldn't have admitted. He said Kadarius Toney didn't turn to look at the ref to check. Because look, I play a little bit of football, tiny bit of football. Even I learned this in a little bit of football I played. And I played defense, right? You always check. You point to the ref when you line up and check to make sure you're good. And in the NFL, you don't even have to point to the ref. You just look, and they'll tell you. If they see you looking, they're supposed to tell you, right? But Andy Reid, honest Andy, was like, "Okay, Toney didn't look, and we gotta coach him up on that and make sure that he's always looking at the ref." Don't say that.
Listen,
Don't say that.
I feel you on that, but I've got a counterpoint for that as well. Terry McLaurin. I believe it was last year or the year before. He lined up. He looked at the ref. Ref said, "You're good." He turned back around. They hiked the ball. Ref threw the flag.
No.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Terry McLaurin. But yes, that happened pretty recently. He checked with the ref. The ref said, "Yeah, you're good." He turned back around. They run the play. And it wasn't even like he didn't even think about it. Like the second they snapped the ball, he already had the flag out. It was essentially, yo, I got you. Right?
He might have told him, like, step up a little bit more.
Because look, it's not the referee's responsibility. They do it, but it's not the referee's responsibility, right? And even if they tell you you're good, doesn't matter because you're not good. But it kind of, so that part of it to me, you can kind of go either way with that, because like I said, it's not technically the ref's responsibility. But what is the ref's responsibility is the fact that you never call it. You see it and you never call it. And apparently, and I had to go back and look at it again, but they say they missed essentially the exact same penalty on the very next play on Buffalo, on Von Miller, that he lined up in the neutral zone.
Oh, no. I saw that play. He didn't line up in the neutral zone.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. Because defense can move up and down. Like he came up to the line. He didn't even step over. He just kind of jumped up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't cross the line.
Yeah.
Very, very disciplined player. When I saw that, I was like, man, you're light on your toes and everything, man. That was great.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all, man. If the ref is an official,
mm-hmm.
so you're getting the official answer. All right,
you're
good.
They're not an official in that way. Yeah. But I'll say this: my last and for me, my strongest argument here is that this is a game. It's entertainment, right? And you took off the board what was one of the most entertaining plays that many people have ever seen.
Yes.
For nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I always quote Key and Fahey when it comes to stuff like this. You will sit there and you'll go under the replay hood and you'll analyze blades of grass to say, hey, catch, no catch, inbounds, out of bounds, whatever. And then every other play, you're just eyeballing it when you spot it, right? Like it doesn't matter at all. And the NFL likes to take itself too seriously in a lot of ways. And I think this is one of them. You had a fantastic play, a fantastic moment, something that would have been in highlight packages for the next couple decades, and you took it off the board because dude was standing 6 feet or 6 inches away from where he was supposed to be standing.
Yeah. And I mean, they've already been doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Officiating. All right. What's one more missed call?
And what's one more missed call against the Buffalo Bills, who are going to be 6-7 and not in the playoffs? if I'm being honest, right? Like if that play happened against Carolina and they just didn't throw the flag and Carolina went to 1-13, I don't care.
Now I'm seeing a lot of Pat Mahomes hate here. Okay.
Yeah.
How
is Pat Mahomes guilty?
Because you know why he's guilty? Because I put that as an option, and they're like,
right.
Mahomes guilty.
Yeah. None of this is Pat Mahomes' fault.
And Pat Mahomes is not a crybaby, right? Jeremy says, to me, it felt more like Mahomes is not entering his Brady crybaby phase. Listen, I'd be upset too. You would be upset too.
Mm-hmm.
You would absolutely be upset. Listen, this is the Tuck rule all over again. Everybody was dumbfounded by that. That nobody had ever even heard of that rule until they called it in that moment.
Yeah.
Is it a rule? Yeah. Doesn't get called ever. Right? And they had to call it. They had to start calling it more often after that, just to justify,
to legitimize it. Yeah.
Just to legitimize that moment. And what was going on at the time, right? Because yes, Al Davis was crazy. He was a little paranoid, but he was also suing the league. Right? He had beef with owners, the commissioner. Al Davis had a long-standing beef with the NFL because he felt like he should have been the commissioner. He helped put together the NFL.
Yeah.
And basically, like, he was in a position they really couldn't do anything with them. And I absolutely believe I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a little bit, but I absolutely believe they did that to make sure his team didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
And I want to say this too, just a little off topic there, but shout out to Charles Woodson. He's one of the greatest football players, period, of all time, because he is the one who made that play. He blitzed, he got the hit on Brady, he forced the fumble, he sent the Raiders to the Super Bowl, and then they snatched it away from him. And he had the fortitude, the intestinal fortitude, if you will, to bounce back from that, go to Green Bay, win Defensive Player of the Year, and win a Super Bowl.
Yes, one of my favorite players of all time. I have an autographed mini helmet from him. Shout out to my friend Andy for hooking me up with that. Absolute favorite. Well, not my one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He's like top 3.
Yeah.
But yes, all right, okay. So look, Kadarius Toney is guilty. Okay, that's it. Guilty. It's the second time it's happened at the end of the game. All right, all this to say, Kadarius Toney, you are guilty, sir.
If Kadarius Toney had hands or situational awareness, everyone would say the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in the league.
That's it. It's 2 moments. This is how close the game is, ladies and gentlemen. If it weren't for 2 moments, we'd be saying the Chiefs are running it back.
And it's crazy that those 2 moments are from a guy who was a little bit of a hero in their last Super Bowl win. But yeah, I don't agree with the with the refs with throwing the flag on that one, but I will abide by the decision of the court.
Okay, man, you guys love this, man. 92 people in here. Hit that like button. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, we are trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. Okay, we also have a Patreon goal, if you will, if you don't mind us talking about that for a second. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right, we're trying to hit 100 patrons. We're over 50 right now. Okay, shout out to everybody that's been supporting us. Listen, that's not a small number. Okay, that for the premier nano influencers that we are. Okay, 50 patrons says a lot about this community. And how much you guys, just rock with us and enjoying the content and want to support us. We thank you. All right. And if you're thinking about supporting us, okay, you can do it for as little as $5 a month. Okay. We have $5 tier, $10 tier, $20 tier, $60 tier if you're a content creator. If not, I won't recommend it. But if you're catching the Holy Spirit from the show and you want to donate more, then feel free. B, just tell them real quick what they can get in these tiers.
Yeah, so what you get with the $5 tier, you get into our Pick'em League, NFL Pick'em League, where we give away a custom trophy at the end of the season, or this past season it was a plaque that Hendo won and will not stop talking about. The $10 tier will get you into our fantasy football leagues, which are gearing up for the playoffs starting this week, and we're going to be giving away a custom championship belt to the winner of that. We also have a redraft league going on, and if there's enough interest, we'll go ahead and start up a new league. We actually do have a couple of spots open for next season in the Dynasty League. If you are interested, again, head over to patreon.com/LBHT Show. The $20 tier is kind of a combined tier for this show and the Ring Kings podcast, which is our boxing podcast that we do with OTR Mike. And you also get the LBHT Crew coin that Jose has there. And then, like you said, we have the $60 tier, which is a creator tier, where we will give you kind of a consultation or strategy consultation, if you will, and just some advice on getting started on YouTube or with a podcast and how to avoid some of the more common pitfalls, and just to help you out with kind of, community building and content strategy and things like that.
Yeah, there you go. So like I said, we have multiple tiers. So if you're you're in the holiday spirit and you're feeling charitable, you just really enjoy the content, those are ways you can help support the show. Also, if you're wondering how people are getting this nice animation right here, okay, this is how we do our super chat over here. Okay, $ LBHT Show, that is the Cash App. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our Stream Elements page. Both ways, you leave a donation, leave your comment, and you get a nice animation right here from Microphone Man. All right.
And I just wanted to take a moment to hate a little bit. Okay. YouTube, they kind of decide who gets subs and who doesn't really, right?
Yes,
They
they do.
control
Yes.
they control how many people get to see your videos and things like that.
Mhm.
But more than 2,000 people see our videos.
Yes.
And I feel like we should be over 2,000 subs because I think we do a good job. We do a good show. We provide a lot of content. I read an article the other day, and this is nothing against this particular person. I don't know if you've heard of her, Shirley Curry. You ever
No.
heard of Shirley Curry?
She's a
That's
YouTuber?
not surprising. More commonly known as Skyrim Grandma. Just a grandmother, older lady who plays Skyrim. Loves Skyrim. Has been
I love
playing it.
Skyrim.
Been playing it for the last 12 years.
Okay.
Just won't stop. She has 1.29 million subs.
Skyrim is an excellent game.
Skyrim is an excellent game, all right? But the NFL is the most popular thing in existence in this country, and I feel like we should hit 2K. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset that Skyrim Grandma has 1.2 million. It's so sad. And she went on there the other day talking about she hopes she gets to play the next one before she dies. Like that's not you just bring it down, Shirley.
Oh, that's sad because that's not going to happen.
But I'm in her corner. I think she can make it.
She can. Now she's going to hang around for like another 25 years.
But that's ain't going to help her out, though. I know that.
Look, my interest you in some Starfield.
No, you don't want to play Starfield. It's not her kind of game. She wants Skyrim. She wants Elder Scrolls.
All right, listen. We
Bethesda need to do the right thing and invite her to the studio.
We had we mentioned the Overtime Show, which is part of the Patreon. We have more off topics like this, and we're going to be discussing more things on tonight's show. What will we discussing? Look at that. You got LeBron, Brodny, and Clarissa Shields. All right. If you guys haven't seen the footage out there, Clarissa Shields got dropped in sparring by a man. Oh, we got some thoughts on that. It's an old footage, okay? And it's floating around. People are snickering. They have their comments about it, whatever. But we're gonna give you our thoughts on that. Also, listen, Brodny is starting his college career, starting at USC. LeBron has long said that he wants to play with Brodny. Okay, so the question is, what are you willing to do to get LeBron on your team? Okay, Bronny's out there. We don't know how he's gonna look. We don't know. It looks like an excellent play up to this point. But let's say he's looking less than lottery caliber. What are you willing to do to get LeBron on your team? Where do you draft Brodny to get LeBron on your team? Okay, so you hold that thought. Hold that thought as we transition over. I don't even want to go to NBA yet. I was gonna say as we transition over to the NBA. What's up, Shug? We have something that we have to discuss that is out of the norm on this show. Okay, and if you're a baseball fan,
actually, first before we get to that, we've got one submitted question.
Okay,
Jeremy. I'm kind of not wanting to read it after this comment from Jeremy. It's a little creepy. Not sure what you mean by people love watching grandmas.
People love grandmas.
We're gonna push through, Jeremy.
Okay, submit a question time.
So we got one submitted question from Jeremy. Thank you very much. If you don't know, you get 200 points for submitting your question. You can do that on Twitter. You can do that on Facebook. You can email us. There's a community post or a post on the community tab on YouTube every week where you can post your question and then we'll talk about it on the show. Jeremy asks, after seeing Ohtani get a $700 million contract, it made me wonder, is there any chance we see a $1 billion contract ever happen in sports?
Okay, so that's exactly what, that was a great intercept, B. Great interception. Okay, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about. A $1 billion contract. I feel like it's happened in soccer already.
I know that there have been offers in soccer. I don't know that anyone's accepted a. Well, no, the one dude, Karim Benzema, I believe, accepted a contract worth over $1 billion. I believe. Let me look.
No. The offer was for no. It was supposed to be for Lionel Messi, and he turned it down to take the MLS deal.
Yeah, but Benzema got a huge contract as well.
It's like 200 million a year, 400 million a year, something like that.
Okay, it's only two, two and a half years more than 200 million a year. So he didn't quite hit $1 billion. But yeah, the offer was made for Macy. It would have been over $1 billion contract. He turned that down for what I'm sure will net him over $1 billion, but it's not part of his contract when he came to MLS and Inter Miami.
Hey, look who it is. It is Yolanda B. Yolanda, I'm not sure if you were in the chat earlier, but somebody was asking for you.
Oh, okay. Wow. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome back, Brodny. So good to have you back.
And thank you so much for filling in over the last couple of weeks. Really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And Clinton said you have to have your own channel very soon.
No, I think that's probably you being messy in the chat. Is that what it was, Brodny?
No, that was Clinton saying, "Where's Yolanda at? We want Yolanda." Which I thought was disrespectful on our channel, but I mean, whatever it is.
Well, that was very kind of you, Clinton. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah. So what's going on, Yolanda? You got any thoughts on the Ravens coming up here? Well, okay. We should answer the question here. We should answer the question. I'm not sure if you saw the question. Shohei Ohtani. Do you know who that is?
I heard about the baseball player who just got paid like $1 zillion. Yes, I heard.
Yes, there's Clinton. That Clinton was asking for you. He was asking. He's asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. They got used to seeing you on the show.
His friend's name is Clinton.
Thank you, Clinton. That's very nice.
$700 million. The question was, will we ever see a $1 billion contract in sports?
Oh. I hope not.
Wow, why would you hope not?
Yeah,
why
not.
Do you hate freedom, Yolanda?
I mean, there's multiple layers to unpack with that one, but
okay, communist, whatever. Let's move on.
Okay.
No, why do you say no $1 billion deal?
Listen, I am all for players getting their money, and I believe in that, but $1 billion, I mean, what are you doing?
Too much.
It's way too much. What are you doing? I need to see what you're doing every day. I need to see hourly billables. What are you doing that adds up to $1 billion? Now, certainly, like I heard about this gentleman. I'm not even going to try and botch his name because I
Shohei Ohtani.
That's the one. So I heard that he's like multifaceted in baseball, and I'm not a baseball fan, so
the comparison in football would be somebody like it would be a Pat Mahomes and Aaron Donald combined.
Correct. That's what I understood it to be. Like he's able to play multiple positions and in one game. So kind of like is it Shador? No. In Colorado, what's the one player who's able to? The one who got injured.
Travis Hunter.
Hunter, exactly. It's akin to that.
Yes.
So let's translate Travis Hunter now to the NFL. And he's able to play safety and he's able to play wide receiver or a combination of the two. How does that equate to $1 billion?
Well, I'll say for Ohtani in particular, because I see where you're going with that. And a player like Travis Hunter playing corner and wide receiver in the NFL, you're not going to get anywhere near that top dollar. He's not going to get that quarterback money or anything like that because there's too big a risk of injury and all that. Shohei Ohtani, he's one of the best pitchers in the league, which is a super valuable in and of itself. And then he's also one of the best hitters in baseball. Yeah. So it really is like a top 2 or 3 quarterback, also being probably in this case, say one of the top edge rushers in the league, right? But to your point, I don't know. You really kind of have to start looking into how much revenue they're generating on their own through jersey sales and merchandise and all that. I think the only way that you really see it is like what happened with Lionel Messi, which is Saudi Arabia just wants what they want, and they say we're gonna overpay just so that we can say we have you, right? And nobody else can say that.
Yeah, for me, when we're talking billions, when we start talking billions, and that was a great question. I think it was Jeremy.
Yes.
Jeremy always has the best questions. So kudos to you, Jeremy. Very thought provoking. But when I think of $1 billion, I need to see what you're doing on an hourly, minute by minute basis, because how do I justify paying you $1 billion? I would just need to see what you're doing. And then if we passed that or cleared that first hurdle of what are you doing that's deserving of $1 billion, if we clear that, then I need to know what type of contract do we have structured around a $1 billion payout. I want to know, like, what type of clauses protect me as the organization should you get injured.
Yeah.
Should you decide you want to trade? Should you decide you want to go do something else with your life? Like, I want to know what type of assurances I have as the the organization before I just sign off on that. But
And sorry to cut you off there, Yolanda. But I was thinking Jeremy's making sort of an interesting point here, saying he's probably the biggest star in baseball since Barry Bonds, right? And that may be true. That may be true, but how big a star is that really? Because how many people do you think really know Shohei Ohtani? How many people are watching baseball for Ohtani? How many people are buying tickets, buying merchandise for Ohtani? I know it's not translating on the field. I know that because he played for the Angels along with Mike Trout, who is one of the best players in the league, and they're a terrible team. So it's not translating to wins just having him there. But if you take him out of there, I mean, granted they're in Anaheim, but you take him off the Angels and you put him on the LA Dodgers, and you are winning games because they're already a good team. But you kind of say, hey, maybe he can take us over the top, get us that World Series championship that we kind of choked on the last couple of years. Could it possibly be worth it then? Maybe. But I just personally, I tend to think baseball players, the numbers are way too inflated.
So all right, let me say this. So yes, these numbers are huge, right? I don't like the idea. Listen, B will tell you, I don't think billionaires should exist. Regardless, I don't think anybody should be making $1 billion. Nobody. But while we're in this capitalist system and we're able to have billionaires, I think anybody has the opportunity to get it, let them get it. Right now, to answer the question, are we ever going to see $1 billion contract? I think we already have. Right? It's not. It hasn't. It doesn't have a number to it. But I'm talking about Lionel Messi. We did a video on this. Messi turned down $1 billion contract with Saudi Arabia to come to the MLS. He didn't do it because he loves MLS so much, right? He didn't do it because he wanted to create a legacy over here. He did it because he's getting a very lucrative lifelong deal with Apple for their league pass, MLS league pass, right? I think he's getting some other profits too.
I believe he's getting a percentage of Adidas sales for for whatever. I don't know if it's just for his gear or what, but he has some deal with Adidas, he has some deal with Apple, and then he has his MLS contract. So it's not one deal, but he's probably going to make more than he would have made just signing with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's not here's a contract that gives you $1 billion, but the deal that he made with these companies to come over to MLS is going to exceed $1 billion over time. So I think we saw it. It's just broken down in a different way. But yes, I think we have a $1 billion deal with Messi, and more will come with these soccer players because Saudi Arabia has a bottomless pit of money, and it's nothing for them to throw around this. And I think Mbappe is going to be the next one. I think his deal will be $1 billion. Man, yeah, that was an interesting question. But before we move on, have you heard how Shohei Ohtani's deal is broken down? Did you see how he's getting this money?
I saw glimpses of it. Like it's the way it's structured.
It's a $700 million deal over 10 years, and he's making $2 million a year.
Right.
He's making $2 million a year for the 10 years, and then they're deferring the rest of the money after the 10 years for another 10 years. he's going to be making like 68 million a year. It's
Yeah,
it's basically like Bobby Bonilla
on steroids.
Yeah. So after he's done playing, he's going to be receiving a check every year for about $68 million.
In perpetuity. Like, I mean, I know that this has an expiration date, but I don't believe it. I think that, this is going to just continue indefinitely. It might not be the entirety of the, the amount.
Because when it comes time to pay up, and people are speculating that the owner might even sell the team before then. The next owner, is going to look at that and say, well, we don't want to pay you $68 million a year. Well, if we break this down to like, $20 million a year or something like that, and it will be in perpetuity. It's exactly what happened with Bobby Bonilla. That's why he gets $1 million every single year. He hasn't played in like 30 years.
Yeah, I can absolutely see a new owner coming in and saying, looking at this contract, not liking its terms, not incentivized to maintain said contract, and saying void ab initio, and just like voiding the entire contract. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Whew. All right. Okay. All right. We gotta get moving because we're circling around an hour and a half here. We're going to get into some NBA talk real quick. Wait, did you have any thoughts that you wanted to speak on anything that we talked about before? We talked some Ravens. We talked Cam Newton. You had anything you wanted to get off your chest?
I didn't really hear the whole story of Cam Newton, so I won't weigh in. But I just heard like outside noise, like, oh, he's not in the league anymore. He doesn't really need to be speaking on this. He's who says he's qualified to even make these types of statements? That's kind of all I heard about Cam.
Is that what I hope Kimberly Martin didn't say that. I actually like
Kimberly Martin. She didn't say that exactly. But kind of hinted
my interpretation of it. That's my interpretation. Like, you are no longer a part of. Like, okay, in your time you were great. That's good, but who are you really to speak on things?
You're sitting at home. You sound like the people kind of tweeting at me from the basement. You're sitting at home watching me. You're not in the league,
right?
Which is kind of disappointing. I always like Kimberly Martin, but you can't come into camp like that,
especially when all you do is speak on sports that you've never played. At that level, at the very least, right? He's played at that level. He's not sitting at home. He is a huge YouTuber, over 1 million subscribers. He's bigger than everybody that's on that panel, right? 1 million subscribers is celebrity status on its own. He was already celebrity, status before that, but to get a million YouTube subscribers, who is he? He's a Panthers legend, former league MVP, and a big time YouTuber. That's who he is, and he is more than qualified to speak on that.
Certainly, because I mean, if we're going to keep everything even, then is Shannon Sharp eligible to speak on football? Ryan Clark, are you eligible to speak on football? So, I mean, at some point we have to draw the line. Like, if we're going to be fair, we're going to be fair across the board. So it's not just going to apply. Certain rules are just not going to apply to certain individuals just because you feel that you're going to garner views or subscribers or whatever your end game is if you talk about this particular player in a negative way.
Listen, he got to play the game, right? He played it at the highest level possible. He dominated in the NFL. And now he's out of the NFL, and now he can't cross over and do what we do. All right.
Right.
This is our domain. Okay. He ain't nobody over here. Right?
Yeah.
Can't nobody talk like we talk. All right, let's get over to some NBA real quick. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You still got 70 people in here, man. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. All right. Lakers win the very first in-season tournament. Congratulations to the Lakers. Congratulations to LeBron. Just another thing to add to his resume. Okay. I think it's a very good achievement, but I knew this was going to happen if LeBron won the title. Okay. The in-season title. There's going to be detractors that say, oh, it's just an in-season tournament. Nobody cares about an in-season tournament. It's not the real championship. MJ wouldn't care about an in-season tournament. Okay. And the old heads like us, me and B, not Yolanda. Okay. But
look, hating ass Agent E already. It doesn't count. I guess you're a fan of the Pacers.
Listen.
Ooh.
there is if it's for competition, if you keep a score and it's for money, don't tell me MJ didn't care. Okay. And we all saw the documentary, like B pointed out. We all saw the documentary where he's beating down the poor security guard and game with quarters. Okay, quarters. The security guard shrugged his shoulders, like, "Oh yeah, I won." He's like, "Run it back." run it back. So if he's that competitive over quarters, you think a tournament worth $500,000 wouldn't get Michael Jordan excited? Right. Of course, he'd have taken it seriously. He wants to win everything, and more so. Look, it ain't Michael Jordan's time anymore. Okay, the players in the league now take it seriously. We weren't sure how they're going to receive it. Right, it's a new thing, but they all competed. They're all. It got chippy at times. They all wanted to win. You had a team like when the Celtics ran up the score. I think it was against Detroit. They had to. So the way it works, Yolanda, in the group stage, you have to get wins, and you have to have like enough point differential in your wins, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of like soccer. Yeah. And they were in danger of being eliminated from the group stage. They had to score over 20 points. They had to win by more than 20 points against, I believe it was the Pistons. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they ran up the score at the end. The game is in hand, and usually when the game's over, you don't run up the score. You just let the clock run out. They were still shooting, right? And the other team was getting mad, and the coach had to explain to them, like, listen, we need these points to get to the next round. So we're not going to stop shooting. They won by 27 points. It was 27 points, I believe, because I think they got exactly what they needed to get to the knockout round. That right there tells me that, this is not nothing. Like they care about this.
Yeah.
Agent E with the most American response possible. If the Bucks won it, I wouldn't care about it. The finals matters. More than one thing can matter, Agent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we talking about here, man? Like,
do you care about Giannis winning MVP?
Right.
That's not the finals. Like when the MVP doesn't give you a championship.
Good point.
Everybody, every other country does sports better than the U.S. Like, everything around sports, right? Because like soccer has all of these kind of in-season tournaments going on. F1. They understand where their teams are in the hierarchy, and they celebrate coming in fourth because that's an achievement for them. In the U.S., it's like, hey, either you're first or you're last.
Oh, so he said MVP doesn't matter. So MVP doesn't matter. All NBA doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters. Only the finals. Giannis only won one title, so the rest of the time he's just a loser. Okay, that's how you want to look at it. Cool. Only one team wins it, and it wasn't Giannis last year. He won it one time, and the rest of it, he's just a loser until he wins it again. I guess he's nothing. Shout out to KP for the donation, man. Appreciate you. Says Draymond suspended indefinitely. Oh,
no,
so listen, we were actually I was going to bring this up on the overtime show. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a menace off the street. Okay, this man right here cannot be. Look at that. He looks like he's like a rabid dog. Okay, he cannot be free to roam NBA courts. All right, stomping on my man Sabonis' chest. That was so funny.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was horrible. I mean, not only the risk of injury to another player, but when you are a public figure and you are without, I disagree with it, but you are in a sense a role model where young children or young adults are looking up to you. It's about the image that you are putting forward. And like, I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier. Pat Mahomes and his,
he was on. We put him on court. We put him on trial.
Sort of, kind of, maybe if you want to interpret it that way, we'll go with that. But at least he acknowledged that hey, you can't act like that. That type of conduct has no room here. And when I look at Draymond Green, when I look at the picture that you just displayed of Draymond Green, and I'm looking at it and I say, oh gosh, children are looking at this and thinking, oh, this is okay. So if I make it to right, children are thinking, oh, this is how you're supposed to act when someone does something to you that you don't like, or if you're defending your teammate or your friend, it's okay to put someone in a chokehold, and that's acceptable. So no, I'm glad. I didn't know that he was suspended indefinitely, but certainly stand behind.
Yeah, so he was suspended indefinitely, and they say he's going to have to go through counseling, before he comes back. And listen, it should have happened on the last incident, right? Like, this isn't just a 1 or 2 time thing. This is going back 7, 8+ years of him just having these absolutely ridiculous incidents where he's out there on a court just flailing his limbs all over the place. Just I mean, at least he's aiming above the belt these days, I guess, but it's out of hand, right? You have a bunch of players out there, and look, the chances of them getting seriously injured by Draymond aren't very high, although there is a chance. But even minor injuries is a negative for the NBA, because then you don't have certain players out there on the court every night. And the stuff that he does, it's just ridiculous. I don't know if you saw the video, but they start calling it a spinning back fist that he caught Nurkic with. And then he's like, oh, well, I wasn't intending to hit him. What were you trying to do?
Yeah, what exactly were you trying to do?
Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed, like that picture that I showed, that wasn't the most recent incident. That's not why he got suspended indefinitely. This is why he got suspended, and this picture doesn't do it justice. He spun around and hit him.
Oh, now see, I didn't know about this one. I knew about the picture that you showed.
This was prior. This is
with the chokehold. Yes, that's the latest.
That's a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the one I knew about.
Yeah. And there's another one. I took it off. I know I shouldn't have done it. Where he stomped on Sabonis. That was in the playoffs last year. Was it playoffs? It was playoffs.
I believe it was.
Yeah. So all these incidents happened within about like a 6 or 7 month span.
Yeah.
Okay. And also him sucker punching his teammate in practice and knocking him out. But yeah, like I said, the things that he does. What do you? I want somebody to sit him down and ask him, what were you trying to do if you weren't trying to punch Nurkic? What was the intended outcome of you windmilling around on a basketball court with a closed fist,
right,
swinging over your head because somebody who's taller than you was right behind you?
This is long overdue. This indefinite suspension is long overdue, especially for someone who's so hot-headed he cannot control his temper. But partly I also put some blame on Steve Kerr for defending him multiple times over the years. And look at that. Look at that. That's just terrible. There's just no explanation that, like, oops, I didn't see you down there. Okay, wait, like, no. That was intentional.
I'm laughing, but these are not funny. Like, listen, I'm cracking up. But before we started, did we not talk about this? I was like, it's time for it. Like, it's time for the league. It's time for the league to take action. He has to be suspended. Yeah, it's time to send a message. You cannot keep getting away with this, man. That indefinite suspension is deserved, because I'm gonna ask you guys this: what's worse, what John Morant did, or allegedly, or what Draymond did? Because John Morant, okay, he's playing around with the gun on Instagram, right? It's reckless. Did he hurt anybody?
Oh, what? No. The Warriors fan says Sabonis grabbed his ankle, so it's okay for Draymond to try and cave his chest in.
Listen,
hit the like button for Brodny's descriptors. They're awesome. So just make sure you hit the like button.
He used his chest as a launching pad so he could jump up in the air and click his heels.
Yeah, no.
That's not the proper response to being grabbed by the ankle.
That's just inexcusable. I mean, in my book, that's inexcusable. There's no valid reason you can articulate that says that this is okay. And especially one thing that you have to consider, or at least I consider, one thing I always look at when assessing this type of conduct or behavior. I look at a pattern. And when we're talking Draymond Green, we're talking years of hot-headedness. We're talking years of incidents. We're talking years of, just seeing him lose his cool to the expense of another player. So I can't ignore the fact that this person has a history, a repeated history of doing exactly what we just saw him do. So, I think at some point the conversation needs to be had within the NBA. At what point do we say, thank you so much for your service?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's the door. Like that kind of aura, that type of essence that you're bringing to the NBA is just unwelcomed and it won't be tolerated.
Yeah, we talked about this. I told I've been tired of Draymond's act, and they need to sit him down and say, listen, if you can't control yourself, you can't play anymore. Period.
Right.
Because it is going to get to the point where he is going to seriously hurt somebody.
Right. And then what?
If you, I can't show the video because they'll flag us, but it's out there. Look on Twitter. If you see the video, Yolanda, it's so ridiculous. It looked like when you're playing Street Fighter, he spun around. Who was the fighter? Zangief. He did a little spinning. Mm-hmm. He spins around his arm and just hits him in the neck. All right. I mean, it was cartoonish.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to hit him. All right. Like we said, what were you trying to do then?
But it's time to stop talking about this because we're almost at 2 hours and we got to do.
Okay. We're going to continue this on Overtime Show because Coach thinks that what Ja did is worse, and we need to have a discussion about that. I think assaulting multiple people, okay, is worse. All right, Overtime Show, patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's where you can find us. All right. Predictions. I loaded them up. All right, this is rapid fire is back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. It was anything but rapid fire last week, but it was okay because we were having fun. All right, rapid fire. Yolanda's still there. She didn't go anywhere. All right, let's go.
All right, so Thursday night we got the Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Easton Stick versus Aiden O'Connell. I guess I'm going to take the Chargers in this one.
No, they're awful. Raiders.
Chargers. If Chargers are awful, then the Raiders are just a step beneath that. So.
Exactly. Saturday. So don't forget, we have 3 Saturday games this week, starting off with Minnesota at the Cincinnati Bengals. Feel-good story of the year. Josh Dobbs just got benched, but not so feel-good story. Jake Browning is kind of heating up over there, so I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yeah, I got the Bengals.
Likewise.
We got Pittsburgh at the Indianapolis Colts. It feels like it's starting to come unglued in Pittsburgh, so I'm going to take the Colts in this one.
Yeah, definitely. It's unraveling at the seams with Pittsburgh, and it's such a joy to watch. But I'm going to go with the Colts.
The late game on Saturday, Denver at Detroit. Russ has been cooking. Detroit had a stumble last week, a very characteristic stumble, but a stumble. I'm going to say that Detroit gets back on track and they get the win at home.
Russ just had a newborn baby. I saw someone on Twitter say, make Saturday, I can't remember his daughter's name, but it said this game here is for your daughter. So I think Russ is gonna take it over. So I'm going with Denver.
Yep, I'm going with Denver too.
Sunday, starting off with the Chicago Bears at the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco with a vintage Joe Flacco playoff performance because he didn't play like that in the regular season. I don't think he keeps it going. I'm going with Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and the Awakening in Chicago.
Oh, you're going to see FAMU on Saturday? I'm trying to go to the Ravens game on Sunday. I'll be in Jacksonville, so I'm gonna. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, so I might go. So enjoy that, Coach. For this game, I'm taking Cleveland. Yeah, I think you're right, Brodny.
I said Chicago.
Oh, well, I think you meant Cleveland, so we'll just go with just joking. So sorry, I got sidetracked looking at Coach's comment, but I'm going to take Cleveland.
I'll take Chicago.
We got the Kansas City Chiefs at the New England Patriots. Pat.
Good night, Agent E. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks, Agent. Pat and Kelsey are going to take out their frustrations on Bill. I think Kansas City wins big.
Exactly. Yeah, yep. New England doesn't stand a chance.
Yep.
We get the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. I don't think I need to give an explanation why I'm taking Atlanta in this one.
You got a score?
No.
All right. Okay. All right.
This is going to be, I'm going with Carolina. I think Carolina can get right. I think they can get right against Atlanta, the Falcons.
I don't think it's possible for a 1-13 team to get right.
Oh, wait. Well, let me preface by get right. Get right means win a game.
Okay.
Beyond the one game.
I don't think it's possible for Carolina to get right.
Okay, I think so. So let this be your other win for the for this stretch. But I'm going with Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going with Carolina. I'm going to say 13-6.
That's good. Yeah. I'm.
What's up, Moscalo? You gotta put your picks in. Put your picks in, Moscalo. Let's go.
Up next, we got Tampa Bay at Green Bay. Tampa Bay not very good, maybe a little bit better than expected, but still not good. Not a good team. Green Bay coming off a shocking loss to Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants, but I think Green Bay gets back on track and gets the win.
Yes, Green Bay. They're gonna be ready.
You seen Tommy DeVito's his agent?
I saw him. He looked like a henchman from Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Great.
I got Green Bay.
We got Houston at Tennessee. Houston's had a ton of injuries. CJ Stroud had his worst game of the season, but the Tennessee Titans also had a pretty shocking comeback win over Miami on Monday. But I think Houston gets back on track and they get the win over the Titans.
I can see that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee edged out the win, but I will take Houston.
I'm taking Houston.
The New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Zach Wilson came back and had one of the best games of his career, getting back into the starting lineup, but it's not going to continue, and it wouldn't be enough anyway. Taking the Dolphins.
Dolphins have a history of not being able to beat teams over 500, and the Jets, I don't believe, have a 500 record. So for that reason, I'm taking Miami.
Yep, got Miami.
Okay, next up, the New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints. And at this point, can you pick against Tommy DeVito? I can't. I'm taking the Giants on the road.
I'm going to go with New Orleans.
Same. I'm going.
I don't know why. I can't articulate the why. I'm just taking New Orleans in this one.
Yeah. Washington against the LA Rams. Matt Stafford looking healthy, looking back to himself, played very well against Baltimore. Washington's got nothing for them, taking the Rams.
Despite all of the injuries that happened last week with the Rams against the Ravens, I still think that the Rams are going to win this one, especially because they are playing in LA.
Yep, I got the Rams.
San Francisco at Arizona. San Francisco by all of the points.
Yes, this one is just, wow. Okay, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm taking San Fran.
Yeah, I got San Fran.
Dallas at Buffalo in what looked like a fantastic preseason matchup. Lost a little bit of its luster. I think it'll be still entertaining, but I'm picking Dallas in a game that's not particularly close.
I am taking Buffalo because they are playing in Buffalo. Weather conditions are going to be a bit too much for Dallas, and I think that is going to be the deciding factor. And because Buffalo is accustomed to playing in those conditions, I'm taking Buffalo.
I think you might be right. I think I'm going to go Buffalo.
Sunday night game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars. We talked about this one a little earlier in the show. I'm taking Baltimore 34-20.
Oh.
I saw Coach, you're going to the game. I will see you there. This is one that we talked about 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. This one concerns me. So, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take my team. I'm going to go with Baltimore, even though I don't know that I wholly believe that, but I'm going to take the Ravens, and it will be a pretty close game, a 3-score game, I think. I'm going to give us 27-24 Ravens.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I think the defense will show up in this game. Okay, I don't think 2 weeks in a row they're going to have a letdown. I'm going to say the Ravens and Lamar will continue to that offense will continue to keep putting up points, especially in a primetime game. So I'm going to say Ravens 35, Jaguars 20.
Sounds like you're biting, but that's okay. Monday night.
What'd you say?
I said 34-20. Philly at Seattle. Philadelphia coming off a fairly embarrassing defeat to Dallas.
Yeah.
But Seattle's not Dallas. Philadelphia is better, I think, pretty much everywhere on the roster, and I think they get the win.
Yep, I got Philly.
I have Seattle in the upset of the week.
All right. That is your week 15 predictions, and we are going to go to trivia time. All right. Don't take 10 minutes to Google the answer. Okay. Have your Googles ready. All right. And then as soon as we're done, we're going to hit up the overtime show. We'll be discussing on overtime. Bam, that right there. The possibility of LeBron and Brodny playing together and who will get them. And Clarissa Shields sparring tape that came out where she was sparring a dude and the dude knocked her down. And it's she got dropped by a guy. Ooh, right? So we're gonna discuss that, and we're gonna discuss some more of this menace, Draymond Green, and what's worse, him or Ja Morant. Okay. Look at that right there. Look at that.
It's terrible.
You tell me, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You tell me. If you got $5 in your pocket, and I know you do. All right. Don't go buy that king size candy bar that's way overpriced. All right. Go ahead and spend it on Patreon. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. That is way more fulfilling. Okay. So go ahead and do that. All right. Trivia time. Let's go.
Yeah. So this one is going to be in honor. Wait a minute. Okay. In honor of EDC and the Ravens, because I saw on Twitter that EDC stays winning. Why? Because he was able to sign a 4th-string quarterback away from the New England Patriots. Malik Cunningham is now a Baltimore Raven. So congrats to the flock. Big win today. It's rare that you get to win during the week before your game, but you guys pulled it off. But the trivia question, again, in honor of that signing, who is the all-time leading passer for the Louisville Cardinals? And while you're doing that, I'm going to spin the wheel for November's Amazon $25 gift card winner, since apparently y'all didn't do it before. I heard all about that from Hendo. So I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel now. Ferris won the points. Congratulations to Ferris.
Congratulations, Ferris.
Congratulations.
Here we go.
Also, you have to give Black Ice, D Weezy, and T Dog points from last week's trivia.
Shug, no.
Spin it again. Spin it again. No. I don't think
that was messed up.
Right, congratulations, Shug.
All right, Shug. Congrats,
Shug.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so you gotta get some points for
I
last.
spun it again in Hendo one, so we're gonna stick with Shug. All right.
We gotta get a new spinner.
I know.
Wow.
Congrats, Shug.
Yeah, congrats, Shug. Enjoy being on the winner's side.
And if you don't know, 63 people in here still listening, right? You don't know what that's for. That is for a $25 Amazon gift card. All right. So Coach is not like that. He did not like the result. Okay. What Ferris won is his choice of prize within reason. I think like between $75 to $100 is the prize. We would kind of let the winner choose. All right. So yes, we give away these prizes every month. All right. This is when you guys donate to the show and you sign up for Patreon. This is what we were able to do for you guys. How do you get points? Just exactly what you're doing right now. Participating in the chat, watching the show, subscribing, donating, sign up for our newsletter at LBHTShow.com. All right. You go over there, put your email address in there, and then just shoot us a message or DM or whatever and say, hey, Where are my points? Okay, I got the newsletter. Where are my points? And we get you 1,000 points, and that's all you need to qualify for this drawing. All right. Do we have an answer?
We do. Let me see here. We've got Hendo with Chris Redman. Actually, I'm sorry, Buck had it first. Chris Redman, Hendo, and Jeremy. Chris Red. I don't know if you can really count that. You called him Chris Redman.
Yeah,
that's
another Baltimore legend. Did he play for the Ravens?
He sure did.
Yeah.
So here's the top 5. Chris Redman, Brian Brom, Teddy Bridgewater, Malik Cunningham, and Lamar Jackson. So you had 3 of the top 5. Carolina had a couple out of the top 10 because we drafted Stephen LaForce back in 2001. And obviously we had Teddy Bridgewater as well. So Louisville will be putting out some, mostly mediocre quarterbacks. And then Lamar Jackson.
Hey, shout out to Coach for the donation. Says, donation is the best nation. Yes, indeed. Right. Salute. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that came through in the chat. Thank you again, Yolanda, for coming through, and thank you again for helping out while B was out.
Yes. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's always fun.
Yes. And like I said, you're always welcome on the show, and of course, the chat loves seeing you here. So, all right, we're getting out of here because we're dangerously close to 2 hours. Patrons, get ready. The overtime show starts right now. Everybody else, okay? Patreon.com/LBHT Show if you want to continue the conversation. Join our Discord as well, all that good stuff. Do you have $5 in your pocket? I know you do. Go ahead and hit that up. All right. But if not, thank you very much. B, are you ready?
Yes.
He is ready. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Peace.